Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of To Be Honest, a show with a nerd, a doc, a clown, and a degenerate. And today in our story, Andrew Tate got arrested.
That was useless.
You got the names around the wrong way, but
I did get them in the wrong order. I kind of felt like I did.
So what was that about Andrew Tate getting arrested? Do you want to elaborate on that, Niall?
Well, he got arrested over a pizza box, pretty much.
I feel like that's just a Twitter rumor, right? The only source I saw was this one random tweet. Everyone just kind of ran with it.
So now some of his fans are reposting this really old clip of him being released from prison and using that as evidence, I guess, that he's no longer in jail as like a coping mechanism.
I thought he did get released though, and it was for like a
he tweeted saying the Matrix sent their agents, but I don't think he's actually out.
Just saw what Jay put in chat, just the sketch of.
I think it's a good picture.
Is that actually meant to be him or some old 2008 sketch? Yeah.
It's literally meant to be Andrew Tate.
Have you seen the videos of him, of when he was younger, right? And he just did not look good at all.
Well, when he went on Big Brother, yeah?
Before he shaved his hair.
I respect that he had a glow up, but yeah, and then they'll be like, if Andrew Tate can look good, anyone can, which is almost like his own fan base roasting him.
Let's talk for a minute about the reaction to him getting arrested, because I think it's kind of strange. There's a lot of people crediting that Greta basically caused him to get arrested because it was his reply to her dunking on him that he showed a pizza box, and the pizza box had a Romanian address in it.
Again, I think that's just a rumor.
Yeah, it might just be speculation, that part.
I think that actually only blew up because one person tweeted it saying how funny it was. That blew up, and then Hassan covered it on stream.
Yeah, it's the snowball effect. Everyone steals from everybody else, so...
I mean, I thought it was real. When I first saw that on Twitter, I was like, yeah, that's real. I'm not going to fact check it. Because, information moves so fast, right? So there'll be another story in 5 days' time, so...
It moves fast because all these platforms promote it moving fast. Like, you got to be the first person to cover it, or your tweet isn't going to get the impressions that you want, or your video's not going to get the views that you desire.
Yeah,
so that's why it's all catered towards that. So, of course, misinformation happens all the time. People genuinely just get things wrong.
Yeah, if I did a sellout, Pyro Live channel video on the Daily Upload channel, if I did a video, I probably would have... Yeah, no, I would have covered that.
But you were way too late to it.
But yeah, no, literally, I'm traveling to Sweden for New... I'm here now recording, with my girlfriend. But yeah, no, it's genius, because I saw, this tweet. Ludwig, Critical, and Mutahar all did a video on it, and they just used the exact same thumbnail, but Ludwig added a red arrow.
That was literally 3 hours after the news broke. Literally rushing to be the first.
I mean, it worked, though, the views. But yeah, just one take, Andy.
So when I was trying to sort through whether he actually had been arrested or not, and what the charges were, I looked at the press release from the Romanian authorities and translated it to English, and I was reading about the case, and it's pretty gnarly. The charges against him involve sex under threat of violence and kidnapping and sex trafficking. So these are pretty serious, traumatizing charges, and they seem to be credible because they're coming from one of the victims who asked for help, and then that was reported to the Romanian embassy. They've been investigating all this time and found reason to charge him. So according to this case, there are multiple victims of this, and it might be more than 2.
Yeah.
And what I found strange is that the majority of the reactions I found on Twitter, no one was looking into, are these kidnapped victims set free? What's going on with these victims? Are they okay? Is there more than the 2 that we know about? All people were doing was dunking on Andrew Tate. He plays a character that they hate, and they're playing a good guy by hating him. But basically, it's like you're yelling at a pro wrestler, like the Iron Sheik or someone who would wrestle Hulk Hogan, and you're like, America rules! It's like that kind of attitude, but they're completely ignoring the fact that this is a serious crime. Imagine someone you hate, you found out that there were children trapped in their basement, and then they're set free, and then you're just like, I knew he was a piece of shit, you fucking loser. And it's like, wait, you're not worried at all about the people who just got set free? Is it fucking everybody okay?
Kind of sucks because, that article you linked, for example, that's words. Most people aren't even going to read that. And as well, yeah, to dunk on funny man who wears sunglasses indoors will gain so much more traction.
Look at Ethan's tweet. He's like, and that's why I call him Andrew the human trafficker. And basically he's just laughing at him. He's like, you can't sue me now. This is a serious fucking problem.
This is not 100% confirmed or anything this is not definitive proof that he's guilty of anything yet. He hasn't been trialed. He's simply been arrested.
Yeah, investigated.
Yeah, say, he hasn't had a trial yet. He hasn't been found guilty.
I think Nerd was the first person to actually look for a source that wasn't just a fucking tweet made from someone trying to dunk on Andrew Tate.
So I'm reading the press release from the cops right now, and it says there's six injured persons have been identified who were sexually exploited by the organized criminal group. With regard to the crime of rape, it was noted that in March 2022, an injured person was forced on 2 different occasions by a suspect through physical violence and psychological pressure to have sexual relations. I guess that's on camera. They were like making
maybe
content that somehow was benefiting the Tates.
Did you see the Greta's tweet saying, where she said email me at Small Dick Energy is already the 5th most liked tweet of all time.
Holy, what's
The
above
problem
that?
I found of it, all she's doing is giving him way more attention. Everyone that doesn't like Andrew Tate already doesn't like him. So the only thing that her dunking on him is doing is introducing so many more people to him. I actually looked up his social stats and he's gotten 500k followers on Twitter in the last 5 days off of that.
I'm looking right now at the most liked tweets. You said number 5 is the Small Dick Energy that Greta said, right? And right above that is Joe Biden saying it's a new day in America.
Well, every day is a new day for him with his fucking dementia. He doesn't remember which one's which. I just imagine him waking up and saying it's a new day every day.
Yeah, I think replying to him is falling for it.
Yeah, no, she 100% fell for it.
That was my objection to us even covering it on the podcast the first time. I'm like, this is marketing and we're falling for the marketing. Remember I said that?
I mean, I hate that line of argument because then, you just don't talk about anything because you might give them attention? I mean, if CoffeeZilla, for example, had not made his 3-part series about Logan Paul out of fear of giving him attention, then you would not know that he was scamming.
It just goes to show, like, people like Logan, they think they're geniuses, and it's like, no, you're in LA, you've surrounded yourself by a bunch of like business people, and like your manager's probably doing 90% of this. You're just the face shilling it.
All right, so basically, Logan Paul has run a bunch of scams. I mean, this is the latest in a series of scams. And this bloke, CoffeeZilla, who's like an internet detective of a kind, or a crypto internet detective, has uncovered Logan Paul's latest scam, which may or may not be his worst yet. So Logan basically has come up with this genius idea where you purchase tokens, which then purchase eggs, I mean virtual eggs, which you then hatch to create animals, which are all stock footage animals, and then you take those animals, those little creatures, and you mate them together, and they produce another stock photo of an animal, which has been photoshopped. So you get like, I don't know, an ostrich with an alligator head, a chicken with a llama's face, or something
There
like
was
that.
a penguin that had like a shark's head, and then like
Yeah.
some really lazy ones where like an elephant just had like a cat's face and stuff. Just pathetic.
You could bang them together on your phone in like 5 seconds using an app.
It looks like stuff that Syriac guy would make. Do you remember him? Like, he's still around, but he used to do those videos like
No, I feel like that's
over
an
10 years
insult.
ago.
I feel like that's an insult to him to
Oh,
say.
no, yeah,
I know what
but
you
like,
mean.
what I'm saying, yeah, like, he did that stuff 10 years ago, and it looked better then than what this does now. But it's that kind of like Photoshop morph of like a real life image. And with this crypto zoo, 90% of it is going to be just like insider trading. It's going to be like his circle doing it to make it look like it's active.
Oh yeah,
and then they get
that's already what happened, and like it's already happened. You didn't even need to watch the CoffeeZilla videos. You've basically predicted everything that happened.
It was funny to see him be so defensive about the quality of the art. So like Logan has replied to CoffeeZilla's allegations in a 7-8 minute video on his main channel. But then yesterday, he also uploaded an episode of Impulsive.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh yeah, they go into a little bit in greater detail of what went wrong in the project.
How to
and
scam
Logan's
children.
They went into a little bit more detail of how Logan feels about the failure of the project and try to go for the sympathy play, really. But the one part that was really funny is Logan feels like the criticism of the art in CryptoZoo was unfair.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
And Big Mike, who is a scumbag con man in his own right, like I don't mean to compliment him unnecessarily, but Big Mike, to his credit, goes, he kind of pushes back. He's like, I was
Gotta do the voice.
Oh, actually, Logan, I was in the middle on that one because, yeah, the art's just kind of basic. It was just kind of a basic Photoshop. I mean, it just seemed kind of simple. And like Logan's fucking getting mad as he says that. And he's like, do you understand how difficult it is to take two different animals and Photoshop them together and make it look like a realistic animal.
Was Mike fired after that for like the first time he wasn't a yes man? Like, is he no longer on any more episodes?
I think he saw the Meat Canyon. He saw the Meat Canyon animation, right? Where he's depicted as some kind of like disgusting lizard worm slobbering after Logan Paul and just reciprocating everything that he says and promoting him like that for money.
In that episode, Big Mike is like, when I was watching you go through like all of this criticism and have all this drama happen to you, I couldn't help but think of my own problems I've been having where the internet was being so unfair to me and people were just lying about me, saying all this stuff that wasn't true. And even as I thought about that, I realized that wasn't anywhere near as bad as what you were going through. So it was such a yes man like way he had to backstep that, where he what he wanted to do was be like, I've been through something like this too, and mine was arguably worse. I mean, that's what he wanted to say. But then he realizes like, oh wait, Logan's the king. I need to step back and go, but you actually were going through something harder than me.
It's such a weird thing to try relate to, right? Like, oh, I basically had people criticize my photoshopped animals. Like, what?
And the way he tells the story, he's like, so we were in like a spa in Qatar, and I saw Logan just get this look on his face where he was like going through it. And I was like feeling so bad for him. It's like, wow, what a relatable scenario. So you're looking at Logan in like the lap of luxury in a resort, and he gets a look on his face where he's disappointed that he's not winning as much as he wanted to. You know, that he'd made all of this money, but people were saying that the product wasn't that good. And it's like, wow, my heart goes out to him. It's like, that is not that's a pretty...
The face he was making was probably just because like the jacuzzi was 2 degrees too cold or something. Like, it wasn't even anything.
It was literally because he was disappointed that he thought he had a $220 million scheme and it was only going to be a $2 million scheme.
Yeah.
It's like, and the look on his face when he realized that he wasn't going to make $1 billion, I was like, oh, it broke my heart, man.
Yeah, well, Logan Paul claims he hasn't made any money from it. I mean, that's what he says in his response video, his 7-minute response video. Like, he's using that as an excuse.
Because there was proof, right, on the blockchain that he didn't sell.
For idiots, this is a good argument. A good argument for morons to hear. Because like, oh wait, Logan didn't make any money, well therefore it can't be a scam. But like, the intention is there. The motivation is there.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't profit from it and the scam didn't work out. We had this before with Dink Doink, I think. I think he said he made no money on that either. It's the same argument again.
It can't possibly be true that there was no money made yet, because you're listening to people talking about how much they sank into this. Now, I gotta say, I'd like to know what I'm talking about on subjects like this, but we were in progress of trying to figure out like the scheme for who made the money off the eggs. Was it a free mint? Were they just trying to make money off of the creator fees? Because they have a creator fee of 2.5%. So anytime that somebody was trading these on the aftermarket, 2.5% would go to the creator wallet. But the wallet doesn't have any ETH in it right now. I just haven't had the time yet to look to where that ETH went. But as it looks like at Mint, people were spending $6,000 just to like secure their. One guy spent 3 ETH in order to mint. So people were spending money.
Does that mean he got the mutation and was like, "This is awesome, I want to mint this," or is it unrelated to that?
It meant he wanted to cut in line and make sure he got an egg.
Oh, okay. So he didn't even know what he was going to get.
Yeah, at that stage, it was just people thinking it was going to be a success and sort of like butting in line and being willing to pay to make sure that they got something.
If you look at Logan, I'm not joking, you will never see a single picture or event without him not showing Prime. He does WWE. He dresses yellow. He has like a yellow bottle of Prime. He bought one of those plastic bottles of Pepsi, and he used that just to balance the Prime on. So when paparazzi were getting pictures of him at the event, the Prime was in shot. They know exactly what they're doing. Like, it's not smart what they're doing. Like, it's obvious. It's like, you know, just fucking psychology 101. I have never seen more videos in my life of like parents filming their kids in the car, and it's like, oh, I got your bottle of Prime. What does it taste like? And they're like, oh, it's really fucking good. Yeah, it tastes so good. it's got the BCAAs. I'm going to go run 10K on my treadmill.
Like, is it just it's just Gatorade? I haven't tried it.
They're saying it's better than Gatorade, but that's saying it's better than piss. So, like, yeah. The genius thing is, apparently, like, everyone that buys it, all the kids, they don't even want it, like, for the taste. They want it to flex. So they'll post it on Snapchat and that and be like, I just got a bottle of Prime. It's like, great.
They probably have the same bottle for like a month, right? Taking photos of it, never drinking it.
Yeah, they'll never drink it either, and it will just go off. It's got BCAAs and stuff for like, you know, like muscle growth and recovery. It's like you're sat on your ass playing Fortnite all day. You don't need that. That's literally for like a workout drink to replace electrolytes and stuff. Like if you're actually dehydrated.
They're going to turn Prime into NFTs at some point. I can just tell. I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll do it.
Everyone that's buying them now, everyone that's buying Prime, like, and actually hyped about it, they're unironically like 10. Like when they turn the age to actually buy NFTs, that's when they'll turn it into NFTs. Any large YouTuber, their audience is going to be predominantly children. Like it's you can't even argue that fact. I remember when Logan was like, you know, still doing his like, you know, kid-friendly daily vlogging phase, and like the selfies he'd get with his fans, they were literally like 9. Like little babies.
Now they're 10.
Because it's, I mean, everyone does the roast, right? It's like, oh, your fan base are kids. You know, like I Show Speed, who's like the biggest YouTube streamer, like his fan base are actually 5 years old. But it's like, they have the most amount of spare time. Kids can't do crypto because it's confusing. Like if it's not the Epic Games store launcher, they don't know what it is. An energy drink, that applies to everyone, right? Like for example, no one fucking gets enough sleep anymore because we're literally all on our fucking phones on TikTok and shit, right? And then it's like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, maybe if I have Prime Hydration, I'll feel better. The last thing I'll say about Prime is that they know what they're doing, because I saw KSI react to a guy in a corner shop and he was reselling bottles of Prime for like 25 quid, and they're £2 or $1.99 retail, I think, or $2.99. So basically just like a, you know, huge markup. And KSI was reacting to it and he's like, oh, that's disgusting. How could you do that? Like you're scamming people, these resellers. But then in another video later on, he reacted to a guy on TikTok that bought a whole pallet of his Prime and was then reselling it online for double. And then KSI was like, no, I respect the grind. I respect the grind. And it's like, you respect it because you know that that guy buying all of it, that's money in your account. You don't care what happens to it next. I mean, it's basically better because he's bought all of it for himself, and then it drives up the scarcity and it drives up the interest. It's just all business at the end of the day. I mean, I'd probably be doing the same if I was in his position, but...
Well, at the end of the day, the Prime it's an honest product at a reasonable price. You can still drink it.
I think we should have like an energy drink for the podcast.
To be honest, energy drink.
We advertise it as like a really shit flavor, but the ingredients are like berry and winter melon.
No. Okay, you're onto something here. We definitely need a flavor for each person. So yours would be like cigarette butts.
Mine would have no
Cigarette
flavor
juice.
because no games. I'm beating you. I'm beating you to the joke. I'm beating you to the joke.
Well, speaking of fresh ingredients, that brings us to our sponsor today, Hello Fresh! What is Hello Fresh? Well, with Hello Fresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on Hello Fresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. It's the most festive time of the year, and
Please
HelloFresh
don't
is
read
here to
them all
help make
this
the
time.
most of every moment. From holiday hosting to dinners during busy weeknights, you can count on HelloFresh to deliver fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes. 'Tis the season for
Does it come with
saving
egg?
money wherever we can. HelloFresh is
Does it
cheaper
come
than
with
grocery
egg?
shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout, so you can use those savings for holiday gifts.
I'm surprised they're actually sponsoring us after the lime thing that happened last
Can
time.
help you eat better amid all the
Why
holiday
did they come back?
temptations. Their meals have 20% fewer calories than takeout, so you can still have full flavor just without the guilt. Go to hellofresh.com/TBH21 and use code TBH21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. Repeat offer. Go to
You don't read that
hellofresh.com/TBH21 and use code TBH21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping.
I don't know if you heard me, probably not, because you're just yelling the whole time. But I'm surprised they're even coming back after the lime thing last time.
What are your favorite HelloFresh recipes? Okay, Dolan is a vegan, so it's obviously going to be a vegan option.
I am not a vegan.
No, you
He's
are.
vegan.
You
He's
are.
vegan.
You're
He's
not.
vegan.
You're
When
not
we were in Australia, you
gaslighting me.
refused to eat meat.
You're not gaslighting me into being a vegan.
He's a vegan.
It's nothing to be ashamed of, Jay.
I'm not.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
I have no games now. I have no fucking food. Can you like give me a break?
Are you just like
please?
afraid of what people are going to say when they hear that you're a vegan, when they learn that you're a vegan? It's pathetic, Jay. You're like a coward.
I'm not
No, it's so
vegan.
pathetic. Like,
But
you don't eat
if
meat.
I
Big
was
deal,
vegan-
Jay. Big deal. You don't eat meat. What's the matter?
Are you a vegan?
I'm not a vegan.
He is. He had a B12 sandwich yesterday. It was just
A closeted vegan?
So what's your
Okay,
favorite?
well,
what's your
if I
favorite?
was
What's
ve-
your favorite?
if
What's
I
your
was-
favorite vegan option, Jay?
If I was vegan,
You are.
I did have the sweet potato and spinach curry one. The other ones I had were meat because I am not a
He
vegan.
is. Why are you lying? God, this is so pathetic, Jay. I swear. If only Andrew Tate had chosen the vegan option from HelloFresh, he would not be in prison today.
Unironically, because they don't have pizza boxes.
He would have more respect for women. He'd still have his hair, and he wouldn't be in prison for whatever he's in prison for.
He's in prison for eating meat. I think that's what happened.
So Pyro, how has you haven't bought it. Jay, you're the only one who's bought HelloFresh. How does HelloFresh?
Are we done? Are we done with it? We don't have to keep going.
Please keep in that I don't have it. Please keep in that I don't have it. Keep that in.
Feel free to cut this audio here, or I don't know, put a different sound effect in to symbolize the break here, because it's not, it's not natural. I don't know. Yeah, do what you fucking want.
Hello, it's just me, Colossal Is Crazy, the best host on the podcast, best streamer as well. Watch the streams, twitch.tv/Colossal Is Crazy. It's like, okay, yeah, we had like 2 other plugs. It's 3. We had 3. Yeah, so I apologize for interrupting here, but at this point, Pyrocynical left the call. We'll get back to it in a second. It's just going to be me, Nerd, and Dolan, but it gets a lot better anyway. Like, the conversation is actually improved without Pyrocynical. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, really. But yeah, I'll tell you the story. This is absolutely true. And I've got video footage to prove that this actually happened. So he's in Sweden with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend walked into the room with a fursuit. And of course, Pyro being Pyro, he tried it on. But when he tried it on, he found it hard to breathe. He found it hard to breathe, and he was rushed to hospital. So he was suffocating in a fursuit. This happened. We had to continue the episode without him. We didn't really have a problem with that. No, we just, continued talking about Logan Paul. So yeah, just to update you, Pyro is still in hospital at the moment, somewhere in Sweden, because of a fursuit. I truly believe, like, the fur head is still on him. They weren't able to take it off. I'm not sure of this, but, like, in my mind, the head is still on his head. Anyways, apologies for that. Back to the podcast. Bearing in mind I'm completely crypto illiterate, so essentially you purchase the token first and then you use the token to buy the egg. But of course, the people who created this in the first place, Logan Paul included, already have a stockpile of those tokens already made, and they have the majority of them. So every
I think
time
Logan was creating like he was basically creating his own currency that was associated with the game, because he mentioned that there was yield farming where, like, you hatch your egg, you breed your animal, and then you don't have to do anything, and you get this passive income, like that it just starts to collect, it starts to make money. That money would have been in this token he created. So I think some of the mechanics of the game are still a mystery because the game didn't come out. Why would you need this token?
I mean, yeah, what is the game? What is the game? What do you do with the animal? Is it like top trumps and you fight?
There is no game yet.
But what was the game even going to be?
Max mentioned that it was a game that is some game that's already out. They just cloned it. So they were like stealing some kind of Pokemon like bootleg game, maybe an open source video game, and then they were just like reskinning it.
All right, so it's like a creature battler Pokemon type game.
Yeah.
So
and then they just
hatch the animal, you combine it with another animal, you create the mutant animal, and then that mutant animal is designated certain stats, like attack power and damage and abilities and bonuses, and then that fights another creature with different abilities and bonuses and attack powers and things like that, and then you see who wins, right? And then maybe you might get some tokens from the win. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's shit. It sounds shit anyway, because you're essentially fighting with photoshopped fucking images of ostriches with 5 legs and a badger's nose.
I imagine just 2 JPEGs just like banging against each other, right? Like no animations, no nothing, just 2 fucking images.
I mean, it's not even an original concept. In fact, it's not even an original concept within crypto, because I know that there have been several...
Axie Infinity.
Yeah, there have been several games created like that, where you hatch an animal, buy a card using crypto, and then you play in this game using the animal, the mutant, the creature, the beast.
Yeah, it's like he was trying to do a cross between CryptoKitties and Pokemon, and that does exist in the form of Axie Infinity. There's this game that was very popular that was doing exactly, I think, the mechanics of this. He was hoping to make it in this pre-mined token that they would then sell to people that needed it for the game. I'm not sure where they were hoping the need for that zoo token was going to come from, because all this is obscured now. You go to the Crypto Zoo website. I imagine we could look it up in Wayback Machine. I haven't dug into this part, and this is something that in Coffee's series he didn't really go through. Maybe because he'd talked about it in previous videos, but
with credit to Coffee and even Logan in certain regard, this is an ongoing thing. And Logan mentions in his response, like, he's not able to talk about certain things yet because there's a lawsuit happening, and we're going to see that because now he's suing CoffeeZilla apparently.
There's no fucking way he's going to sue CoffeeZilla. Let me tell you why. If he sues CoffeeZilla for defamation, what will the defamation be? It'll be for calling him a scammer. Calling him a scammer. You can prove he's a scammer in a number of different ways. It could be because basically it's an umbrella term that will have these other wrongdoings underneath it. And what CoffeeZilla will need to indicate is that any of those are true, that he was colluding, that he didn't intend to ever deliver the game. There are a number of different accusations there, or possibilities that CoffeeZilla could potentially get discovery on, where he can look through Logan's communications, and then it'll be the Logan files. There'll be a drop of all of the different crypto colluding that Logan has been doing. Like Logan has been a bad actor in the NFT scene, or at least, like, what would you call it? Like, he's been a drag.
Hasn't most people been a bad actor in the NFT scene?
Yeah. So when Logan uses the language of someone who, is looking at that objectively and isn't a bad actor, when he's saying like, oh, we got rid of this guy because his only motive was profit, and unfortunately the NFT scene is full of bad actors. It's like, Logan, you're one of the people that caused this terrible reputation. Because first of all, Crypto Zoo I wouldn't even say it's his worst NFT product he's done. His crypto scams, this is his 5th one at least, potentially 6th. So there's Dink Toink, which is mentioned in the series.
And that's the only other one I know about. I don't know about any of the others.
There's the Polaroid one, which had some sort of creativity to it.
Yeah, he sells a digital version of a photograph and signs it. He also sold moments of him opening packs, and then it created all of this confusion for, like, what is a moment? It's such an abstract thing. No one really understood what that was, but people were buying it anyway. And he sold that using this token called Bondly. Those moments are, like, very hard to trade or to access because they weren't on Ethereum. They were on a weird other token that he probably had some deal with. So he was opening Pokemon packs. Do you remember that phase where he was on YouTube? Like,
yeah.
And he had pumped the value of Pokemon and when he would open the pack, he would say this inflated value of the card that people who knew Pokemon were calling out as being like, this is nowhere near.
Yeah, they always did that. They'd take like the highest it's ever sold for if it was in mint condition and just say it's worth that. Even though like the moment his sweaty hands touched the card, it was already devalued by like half of what he said.
Yeah, so it was inaccurate. But then because he'd said that, like he had created the value. It reminded me of like when there were these publicity stunt auctions of baseball cards, like the Honus Wagner, where celebrities were kind of outbidding each other to pay the most to have it. And it's like, and they created this value that otherwise, like there was no historical context for it being that valuable. It's just they just said in the news that it was worth that much, and then now it's the most valuable card ever or whatever. So like Logan had what Pokemon collectors are calling the Logan Paul bump effect on the Pokemon ecosystem, because as he was announcing these inflated prices, it manifested in inflated prices for those cards. So he kind of just like spoke it into existence. So that was, anyway, tied to all of that, he was selling the moments. Okay, and this is so abstract that if you can't wrap your head around it, join the club. He was selling a video of a few seconds as he opened the pack and revealed one of the cards in the pack. Like, as you imagine, you're flipping through the pack and it's like one card moves behind to the back of the stack and you see the new one. He was selling that tiny little clip as the moment.
Yeah.
So some people were paying, like, they were paying more for the better cards. So like one person paid like $20,000 for a Charizard moment.
I feel like Logan Paul, maybe not anymore, but if this was his first scam, in inverted commas, because Logan Paul might sue me, he would be able to sell literally nothing and just say nothing about it. I have a great idea, great new crypto for you, a great new token. This is going to revolutionize and change the world. And that's all he says. And people would buy it. And people would buy it in droves if it was his first one.
It already sounds like they have. Buying a fucking moment.
He's done the Polaroids, he's done the moments, he's done Dink Doink, and then the digital card that he painted of himself that looks like a Pokemon trainer. That card, he sold 2,000 of them at, I think, 1 ETH a piece. So he ended up making, at the time, it was something like $2-3 million off of selling something that wasn't even a unique one.
Physical.
Yeah,
it wasn't physical either, right?
Not a physical card, a digital card that had a relatively high issuance. Like, it's not that rare. There's 2,000 of them. So some people paid like $3-4 grand, depending on the value of ETH at the time. Some people paid like several $1,000s for this thing, and currently you can grab it for. The last time I looked, it was like $80. So people really ate shit on that.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
Maybe. But like, it also, if Logan was a good actor, if Logan really did want to make a good Pokemon card set, he could.
Well, this is the main thing I don't understand about Logan Paul. He's obviously been very successful in his boxing, on YouTube, wherever, where have you. He's made a lot of money. Why doesn't he take some of that money and some of the talent he obviously has, he genuinely has it, and just make something good? You can run an NFT thing, fine, Logan, go for it. You can even make a lot of money off it and profit from it, but why does it have to be shit? Why does it have to be shit?
That is a damn good question. Like, that's such a good question. And when he was marketing this, all of the sales happened on CryptoZoo prior to the reveal of the art. He was saying that he'd spent $2 million on the project. And so people were assuming, well, holy shit, he's hired a bunch of really good artists and he's going to make this big. And that's what I thought was possible. I thought he might have hired like a team of artists who'd been working around the clock and they were making, a Pokemon deck.
I don't even think it's fair to call what he's done with CryptoZoo art. It's not art.
It's not.
Yeah.
When I first learned Photoshop when I was like 14, the first thing I made was like a cat's face on an apple. He could have just hired a horde of 14-year-olds, right?
You can go by like a Google definition of what art is, and art can be anything, but no, I'm sorry, like by the general consensus, that is not fucking art. That is a Photoshop, and not even a very good Photoshop.
Baby's first Photoshop.
Of stock footage. Of a stock photo.
I think the Paul brothers keep revealing that they have really terrible taste. They understand attention and they understand marketing and all of these things. Like, there is some credit to give them.
They understand how to make money.
Yeah. But whenever they express themselves, like visually and aesthetics comes into it and their taste, you start to see like, oh, wait a minute. Like, these guys have got very trashy, terrible taste. So Logan's logo for Maverick is pretty cool looking. But it's also stolen from Thunderbird or whatever. It's like that great bird on the front of an old 80s car. So it's probably something his dad had, Greg Paul's car. You start to think, oh, maybe Logan's got good taste because like Maverick looks kind of cool. But the way he defended this art on Impulsive yesterday, I mean, there's no way to explain it. It's either this is a big bit where he is pretending to like this art, and it was meant for you to hate it, and that it would be marketed in like, look how stupid this is, or he actually thought that this was like acceptable. But the way he gets mad at Big Mike pushing back on the quality of the art, like, it really looks like Logan was crushed. Like, have we just crushed the artistic spirit of an aspiring artist? You know, like, is this the moment?
What if he was the one who put all the photos together and that's why he's so offended by Mike?
Yeah, I kind of think it's possible. I think that, so like either he really liked the art and he was signing off on it, or he was one of the people who was also putting things together, because he made the Dink Doink logo. So he's not averse to, like, you know, making shitty Photoshops. I'll bet you he made some of that stuff because he looks crushed, which got me thinking, like, okay, what other power hungry person was rejected from the art scene? Is this something where we're going to look back on dictator Logan Paul and we're going to wish that we had encouraged him down the artistic path, that he'd been allowed into Vienna's Academy of Art?
Because Logan Paul could quite easily hire a bunch of people that are very talented in order to make whatever he's doing, crypto or otherwise, successful. But I think his ego is so enormous that he truly believes that he alone, even though he's never done anything like this before, has the talent to pull it off. I think Logan truly believes, like, anything he touches turns to gold. And so why not crypto?
That's true, because he sold Pokemon moments. Like,
it shows the power of attention, that you can convert it into any product, even terrible ones. So on that note, wasn't there a shoe you wanted to talk about today?
It is called the Vessi. It's called the Vessi Cloudburst.
They're a digital shoe that you can breed with other shoes and get another shoe.
Yeah, you will never have to buy another pair of shoes ever again because they breed. They're also the best shoe to have in the winter. All the features of a rubber winter boot built into a sneaker. 100% waterproof, not
I'm
water
so glad
resistant,
there aren't that many
waterproof and
talking
warm,
points this
yet
time.
lighter and more comfortable than boots. They have a lugged rubber outsole that gives you extra grip in wet conditions, added lining inside for extra warmth in the cold. They slip on and off. It's quick and easy to get outside. How does it work? Well, it's made from DYMA-TEX brackets.
I've told you how to
Dymatex.
pronounce it.
That's what it says.
You didn't have to
a
spell it
super
out.
soft knit material that keeps your feet warm in the cold, but cool in the warmer months. Doesn't feel like it should be waterproof, but it is. It's comfortable, it's durable, and breathable. How comfortable is it? Tell them. Oh shit, we gotta tell you. It's very comfortable. I'm wearing a pair right now.
Indoors.
So if you're like Colossal and you live in a dilapidated mansion with holes in the roof and it's just leaking rain, and your entire house at any point could have like a puddle, you know, becomes like a slipping hazard, and you suddenly have the urge to smoke 100 cigarettes and you start dashing towards the door, you're not going to wipe out in like slapstick clown fashion.
Yeah, the floors are pretty dirty here. The cleaner came in and she didn't do a very good job. No, she didn't do a good job. I mean, she didn't mop the floor properly. How difficult is it to mop a fucking floor? Shouldn't be that
Oh,
hard.
poor you, having a cleaner.
Vessis are my go-to shoes by my door. Check them out in the link, vessi.com/TBH, for a pair of your Vessi shoes.
Back to Logan Paul. So the impulsive episode, he goes through basically like how he was emotionally impacted by the accusations, and his co-hosts have his back, and it's kind of nauseating to listen to the circle jerk there. But the lack of accountability wasn't just on display in Impulsive. The tone that he takes in his response to CoffeeZilla is like completely wrong, which was a strange setup because he goes, this is a guy who has gotten all of these facts wrong. My developer is a criminal. My promoter was greedy. My community is made up of like bad dads and idiots. And the one you talk to is a moron. Oh, and my manager, I guess, doesn't pass on messages for me, was the implication. So he goes through and basically just agrees that his team is shit.
He even used that as a point where he said Coffee using testimony from one of the guys who scammed was bad because the guy was a scammer, but it was like, but he was on your team. You chose him.
If he was on trial, this is the strategy of trying to like impugn the character or the reliability of the witness. So you're trying to place doubts that what they're saying was accurate. But in doing that, he was decimating the credibility of his team, which is one of the points and the reveals of the video. You know, like this isn't something that Logan had had already told everybody. You know, he just had this community that he wasn't communicating with at all. Like, he wasn't talking in the Discord. He wasn't telling them what's going on with the project. You know, like, sorry guys, it's coming. Like, he was saying nothing. He'd posted like 2 messages total to them and just had stopped talking about it. So it every bit looked like a rug pull. And I don't believe that Logan would have built that game had CoffeeZilla not made the video. I think that he will come out with a game now. Like, he's certainly got the money to do it. Will it be any good? Anyone's
Definitely
guess.
not.
I think he will deliver.
It's only because he's in the public spotlight now and been called out for it.
Yeah, because he didn't come back and revisit these other sort of failed NFT projects. You know, like, he didn't make Dink Doink a success. He didn't go and make more of these cards. He didn't keep talking about the moments. He didn't do anything that would help out the people who believed in him and bought those other NFTs. He's not continued to provide attention or value to any of those other projects. So why was this one going to be different? Like, I don't believe it would have been the outlier.
Yeah, possibly. I would like to give Logan Paul a little bit of credit and say that when he did the whole Suicide Forest stunt, he did really make up for that by giving like $1 million to charity. Everyone always mentions the shitty apology he made where he's almost crying, I made a huge, or whatever the fucking quote was. On top of that, he gave $1 million to charity. No small sum. I remember the argument at the time was just like, yeah, but $1 million is nothing to him. Yeah, but $1 million is $1 million, mate. You didn't have to give anything and he still would have gotten away with it over time.
Let's say you're one of these celebrities that has accusations levied against you of, like workplace abuse or misbehavior or something. And in order to make that go away, you cut them a check and they agree, I'll stop talking about this. And then, you sign the check and you lose a bit of money. Do you think that's a really good thing or proper penance? Because to me, it's just like using your money to make a problem go away.
But I think people would have stopped talking about it and the problem would have gone away regardless of him giving $1 million to charity.
I just think it was a bad investment. So like, that's true. And I think if he just waited it out, like, I don't think it made it any better for him. And I don't think he actually cares about suicidal people. Because like, what was his response to this stuff? Like, has he looked at his community and been like, I hope no one got fucking wrecked over this? It's like, no. And that actually is one of the first things he should have done. He should have been like, what did you spend on this? Let me give it back to you.
Probably because when he did give the $1 million to the suicide prevention charity, nobody gave a shit. Well, except for me. I was one of the very few people that gave a shit.
Just Colossal sitting there.
My argument at the time, and is still to this day, I don't really care because $1 million is $1 million. I mean, think about YouTubers when they mess up or when they make a mistake. They just make a disingenuous apology video, or they wait for people to forget, which they almost always do. But Logan did something pretty unique, and something that I feel should be encouraged. I mean, I was impressed when he did it. But what happened was that nobody cared. Nobody wanted to see past the mistake that Logan had made. And I think that's a shame, because all that's going to do is dissuade others from trying something similar in the future. I'm not saying give him a round of fucking applause, but, what he did should be encouraged for others to do more, regardless of their motivations, because obviously, like, Logan Paul's motivations, his intent here was self-serving. It doesn't make up for it because your motivations are bad.
Oh, interesting.
And it's a case-by-case basis. I'm not saying, like, every intent always outweighs the result, but in this particular case, yeah, I say it does.
I think he was given a list of prescriptions from a PR person, and they said, all right, here's what we do to get you out of this tailspin. You're going to take some time off from social media. You're going to explain how you got caught up in the game and how you just made a miscalculation. You're going to have someone keeping an eye. You're basically going to have a filter on your future content to make sure that nothing like this gets out. And I think you should also do something to increase the goodwill around your brand, and that could include giving an appropriate amount to charity, particularly because you had arguably made money off of this controversy. So I think he just went down the list and was like, okay, whatever you say. Like, I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he does either. I mean, again, like, his motivation's pretty obvious. There's a question that I really want to ask Logan Paul, actually. And, well, maybe I will ask him because he follows me on Twitter. But I want to ask him, has that left you any less inclined to reimburse those people that have felt scammed by you as a result of that? Because I think that's a factor in why he hasn't.
Should ask him it on the podcast after we have Kanye on.
We had Kanye on. What are you talking about? That was last episode.
We couldn't put the episode up. That's right.
Okay, shall we call this episode We Asked Logan Paul a Very Important Question? Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's such
exactly.
a good title,
Yes.
right?
Okay, there's the title sorted.
We asked Logan Paul a very important question.
We asked Logan a question.
And he answered, or something like that?
When he mentioned in the Impulsive episode that he had talked with Jake over the holidays about this drama that he was embroiled in, and he was like, "Do you see what's going on with me?" And Jake goes like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't really care. I just figured you didn't do
It's
it,
kind
so
of
whatever.
it's kind
I
of
didn't watch
based
the video."
in its own right.
How many times did he say while saying that? I remember when we had him on Mum's Basement back when I was still doing that. I asked him like the most tame question of all
You
time.
actually
He was
had
like,
Jake Paul on?
yeah, we had Jake Paul on.
Okay, I didn't watch a single episode of Baited, so
Yeah, I don't fucking blame you, to be honest. But I think Nerd was there when I asked the question, or was listening in, and it was just so tame, and he was like, "Damn, you really are trying to get me here." And I was like, "What? What?"
you just asked him if he liked dogs or something. Damn, this guy's trying to do something.
Okay, so that's the end of the podcast. I'll just end this by saying, if you're a fan of scams, like Logan's or someone like him, then you ought to consider joining the To Be Honest Patreon. It's only $5 a month. You know, it's a pretty good deal. In fact, I think I'm toying with the idea of upping it to $50 a month.
It's not going up.
I
Why
might.
not?
Well, I'm thinking about it. You get in now. You get it at the discount price. That's really just the intelligent move, and you should do it. Join today. Thanks.
It's not going up to $50.